Hey there, good afternoon. It is Thursday, March 26th. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm Storm Tracker meteorologist Alexis Clemens. We're talking about temperature roller coasters, rain chances. You know the saying, March goes in like a lion, out like a lamb. Yeah, I don't think the lamb part seems very likely as we continue to track this very interesting wave of temperatures, rain. We've got a lot to talk about in terms of the rest of this week and into next week as well. Crazy to think that we have only a couple days left of March. April is right around the corner. We're going to go ahead and break it all down for you, but I do want to start on this absolutely gorgeous Thursday that we've got going on out there. I mean, take a look at these temperatures. 74 there in Greenwich, 70 in Danbury. The shoreline is a little bit cooler, especially New Haven and areas over towards southeastern Connecticut. This time of year, Long Island Sound, those temperatures on the water are cooler, and any southerly wind is going to keep the immediate shoreline cool. But it warms the rest of us up because it's all the way up to 69 in Waterbury, 66 there in Chester, Meriden, Norfolk, New Milford, Hartford, Windsor Locks. Gorgeous day out there. Hopefully you are out there enjoying it. Here's a look from New London right now. We've actually been lucky with some sunshine today, but there's definitely cloud cover that kind of overshadows it. And here's a look at that satellite and radar here. This is at 3:25 p.m. on your Thursday. And you can see a couple breaks in the clouds, but still a good amount of cloud cover out there. And unfortunately, that's only going to increase as we go through the next few hours, and that's ahead of our next chance for rain. So here's what we're tracking next, our next chance of rain here. And this is actually going to be a really interesting situation that we are monitoring here, because we're going to talk a little bit more about not just Connecticut weather, but all across the country here, especially the Great Lakes region and the Midwest, because this system, I mean, you can see some snow up in northern Wisconsin, but what's going to be happening here, what we're starting to see is developing a line of what will end up being thunderstorms, and that is going to progress to the southeast. So we'll be watching that area very closely as we go ahead and zoom in a little bit more on our region here. Got some rain in Syracuse, heading towards Binghamton right now, and Albany. We're expecting that to kind of make its way into Connecticut. It takes its time, kind of slowly progressing further south, but as early as about 6 p.m., I could see a couple of little rain showers, especially closer to the Massachusetts border, northwestern Connecticut there, and then it spreads further south as we go through the evening and overnight hours. It's really not much that we're talking about here, just some rain, but right behind it brings in some cooler temperatures. And kind of just to show you how interesting these temperatures are, take a look at this. These are your current temperatures across the region. It's 90 in Wichita and St. Louis, but you head up the interstate there from St. Louis to Chicago, it's 54. So that's that system that is progressing through. I don't think I can zoom in. Yeah, look at this. Look at that very, very sharp temperature gradient there. That is tough. When you think about like southern Iowa, northern Illinois, very, very difficult to forecast for. And we are going to likely see something very similar as we go towards next week. So just kind of breaking down how we forecast, how we put these things together is a very, very interesting setup for sure. But yeah, very warm in St. Louis as we head over to the East Coast. I mean, it's pretty warm. I mean, 73 in Washington. It is 66 in Hartford, but you'll notice, yeah, Buffalo at 48, Montreal at 37. That cooler air is on the way. So that's kind of what we're seeing with this system. We are not going to see this, but there is a severe threat even with this system as well. Classic spring-like setup here with, I mean, when you have a temperature gradient like that, you've got warm, wet air combining with cold, dry air. That's going to create some issues, and that's what happens during spring. So this time around for the 26th of March, we've got a level 3 severe index for Illinois all the way over towards like Cleveland, Ohio. So again, this is not for Connecticut, but just showing you how interesting this setup is. But speaking of Connecticut, let's go ahead and talk about our rain chances as we go through the overnight hours. Now, early on, wouldn't surprise me if a couple areas even hear a couple rumbles of thunder. Again, severe weather stays well to our west, but something that you might hear that could provide a quick, heavier rain shower as we kind of go through the evening hours here. You'll notice, though, let me go ahead and back that up a little bit. So you'll notice maybe just some quick heavier rain. That's if this thing can get going. For the most part, though, just some batches of moderate rainfall after about 6 p.m. And I'll tell you, I think the 6 to 9 p.m. roughly rain showers are mostly along and north of I-84, so northern Connecticut into northwestern Connecticut. Then it slowly will spread a little bit further to the south. So all of us likely going to be seeing rain by about 9, 10, 11 p.m. And we'll just kind of continue to see that overspread the region. It'll be on and off, nice, light, steady rain. Not too long after midnight does the northwestern part of the state start to dry out. Everybody else still dealing with a couple of lingering showers. This system is moving in from northwest to southeast. And by about 5 a.m. or so, we should be dry. So we're not expecting rain really not during the day tomorrow and not really during the day today. A couple of showers, depending on how close they can get to us this evening. Otherwise, it's mostly just during the overnight hours. And you'll notice Friday starts out with cloud cover, should be ending with a little more sunshine. And if you don't see a lot of it tomorrow in the late hours, we should see quite a bit by Saturday. So that's kind of what we're watching for you there. Rainfall for this event doesn't look to be anything incredible, about a half an inch, maybe a little bit more if you can get a thunderstorm going. I'm going to say half an inch to about 3/4 of an inch looks pretty likely there. So we'll keep an eye on that. And then those temperatures are going to start to fall. So take a look at what happens here. Temperatures kind of fallen a little bit in tomorrow morning's hours there. And that's because of a cold front sweeping through. Again, bringing us that rain chance. So the rain kind of precedes it in a way. And then we're staying in the 40s all day long. So as you step out the door Friday morning, you'll notice, 40 is not that bad out there. 47 at 7 a.m. That's about as warm as it's going to be all day long. We will start with cloud cover. We'll end with a little more sunshine. I'm going to make sure I'm not missing any comments. If you guys have any, please let me know. Somebody said, the sun feels so good. Grateful for it today. Absolutely. I was able to get outside for a little bit. And I mean, it makes a huge, huge difference. So it is really nice to have that. The 60s are phenomenal. The average temperature for this time of year is about 51, 52 degrees across the state. So 68 today, not too bad. In fact, let's go ahead and take another look at those temperatures because makes me happy. 66 in Hartford and Windsor Locks right now, even 70 in Danbury. So it looks great. Everybody's getting in on the action except for the shoreline, unfortunately. Southeastern Connecticut, especially, Stonington at 52 degrees over there in the Mystic area as well. You know, the shoreline's the place to be when it gets a little bit warmer, especially when Long Island Sound warms up a little bit. But this time of year keeps it a little bit cooler. So beautiful day out there. I would encourage you. I already have plans to at least take a walk outside, maybe go for a run or something like that for this evening because it's going to be gorgeous. Like I said, rain chances they should hold off until after the sun sets for most of us. If you're up towards like Torrington, maybe even the Norfolk area, the northwestern part of the state, you might run into a couple of rain showers this evening. Otherwise, it won't be too bad. Somebody said fresh spring air. I agree. It is lovely. If only it could stick around. And I'll tell you what's on the way because I think that'll encourage you to get out today a little bit more. I'm just going to make sure that I'm not missing any comments because I want to make sure that I'm hearing from all of you. But yeah, great day out there for sure. It is lovely. Let's go ahead and see. Yes, perfect. So let's talk about what's coming because I don't think you're going to like it. I don't like it. But like I said, the temperatures for tomorrow, let me go ahead and pull that up. Again, in the 40s just about all day long. As you can see there, cloudy start, some clearing late in the day. And then it gets pretty cold as we go into Saturday. Saturday's not looking great. I'm going to be honest with you. In terms of temperatures, it gets a little bit better later and at least, we've got sunshine on Saturday and Sunday. We'll take it, right? Let's go ahead and load this guy in here because, it feels like temperature's gorgeous right now, but watch what happens as we go towards Friday. Okay, yeah, Feeling like the 30s and 40s. Not great, not great. It's Saturday morning, though. That's where it's really going to cool down. I could even see a couple of areas near like the teens to begin Saturday. Yeah, unfortunately, we've got some cooler skies out there. Somebody said just trying to get cloudy in Stratford. Yes, just we're starting to see a little bit more cloud cover out there right now. Like I said, if only it could stay, but we all know how that works. So here's what Saturday morning looks like. Yikes. Not a fan of that at all. So unfortunately, it does cool down quite a bit. We haven't talked about wind chills in a little while, but unfortunately, with a little breeze on Saturday morning, cooler air in place, it's going to feel pretty chilly out there. The teens and 20s for a lot of folks Saturday morning. I'm not going to enjoy talking about that. Somebody says, hello from Wolcott. Hello. Glad to have you all here on this afternoon. We are, I don't know if you guys are watching, but on NBC Connecticut right now, we have the Mets game versus the Pirates. At last check, the Mets were winning. I don't know. I'm trying to look at the monitor over there. I cannot see that far away, but we will be on air right after the Mets and Pirates game on NBC Connecticut. But this is kind of your early look at the forecast here. Somebody said, how about 9 a.m. Saturday? It looks kind of like this that you see on your screen right now, feeling more like the teens and 20s. So I wanted to put the winter coat away, but I knew better. So I would just be ready if you're out and about Saturday morning. We are going to be on the cooler side. I think this graphic here, let me go ahead and grab this for you here. I think this does a really good job of showing what's going on here. So nice and mild for today, but it gets cooler as we go into the weekend. Well, this time of year, what causes a lot of our severe weather is the drastic change and gradient in temperatures, right? And when you see a huge gradient like that, typically unsettled weather, right? So as we go towards Saturday, cooler air mass winds. It's going to be temperatures in the 30s. Definitely not feeling like the last weekend of March. Starts to get a little bit warmer by Sunday and Monday. I do think actually the end of March is not too bad out there, but you know the saying, March is in like a lion, out like a lamb. It's not, I mean, the lion part we definitely have because it's been back and forth and back and forth. The saying is because, you know, going into March, we have crazy weather, right? Spring and winter are fighting each other. By the end of March, we're supposed to settle out. It doesn't quite look like that is the case here in southern New England. Actually, I think that the lion comes to play also going into April, because this is a really interesting setup here. As we head towards Wednesday and Thursday of next week, that is the beginning of April, there's a huge temperature range, and we have to see exactly where this boundary wants to set up. It's definitely going to bring us some rain chances by Wednesday of next week. But as for that temperature range, I mean, we could see a large temperature range over the state of Connecticut. I mean, a 30-degree temperature range across our small state is very possible. So it makes it very, very difficult to forecast. And I want to even show you what I was just looking at with forecasting a little bit ago. One model on Thursday wants to put us in the 70s and 80s, and another model is 30 degrees cooler. So there's been a lot of uncertainty with that. I do think we're a little bit warmer on Wednesday, but the question is on Thursday, where exactly does that boundary line up? It's a headache to forecast, but we're going to keep an eye on it, and we'll keep you updated as it gets closer. Right now, though, what we've got for your forecast is 40s tomorrow, the 30s on Saturday, but we do lift back into the 60s Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But like I said, that is subject to change. I do think warmer weather will be here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Thursday, though, is kind of the question mark. So I will give you a quick look, your first look of the 10-day forecast before our show goes on after the baseball game today. But we've got some clearing in the skies as we go through your Friday. It's cooler for Saturday. Definitely be ready for the heat to kick in, unless you haven't switched over to that yet. But you'll notice right after Thursday of next week, we are expecting that cool down again. Spring and winter, even though it's spring, they're button heads. They don't winter doesn't want to give up spring wants to take over, it makes it a little tough for this time of year. Spring will eventually win. We know how that works. It just takes a second for us to really warm up and stay there. A lot of people have also asked me, when can we start planting, right? Flowers, whatever it might be. Not yet. If I was a bedding person, I would wait quite a bit longer. Unfortunately, our average last freeze in Connecticut in the area is closer to Mother's Day, which is early May. And we know how temperatures can kind of, go back and forth. But I know that we've got some stories that a lot of our colleagues are working on this week about how, if you are thinking about planting, you wouldn't want to do it just yet, but there are ways that you can prepare and kind of get ready for that. So definitely look out for that on NBC Connecticut, online and on air. But yeah, unfortunately, we've got obviously freezing temperatures in the forecast for Saturday morning, Sunday morning as well, and still the 30s and 40s after that. Quite a mess for sure. So thank you all for sticking with us as we figure that out. I will tell you that I'll show you this. This is from the Climate Prediction Center. They put this out every day. This is like the next 2 weeks, what they think that's going to look like. And they're starting to favor some warmer conditions. So we'll see. It's been slow. I've been watching this map for the last couple of days. It's been slowly inching warmer closer to us. So we'll see. That would be kind of closer to the middle of April there. So again, we just need to make sure when you're trying to make sure that spring air mass takes over. And but again, until that point, we're in the battleground, the battle zone, whatever you want to call it, which will provide rain chances. Unfortunately, quite a bit of cloud cover and varying temperatures, which we definitely have on the way. But again, before I let you go, definitely get out and enjoy these beautiful conditions here on your Thursday, March 26th. This specifically at 3:40 p.m. Temperatures are beautiful across the state. The 60s, it would be a little bit better if the sun could stick around, but we'll take what we can get, right? If you're over at the shoreline, especially the southeastern shore, hey, if you head just a couple miles inland, you'll definitely feel that warm up. So thank you all again for joining us here on this I'm forgetting what day it is, on this Thursday afternoon. I very much appreciate it. Again, we'll have all those updates for you on NBC Connecticut, online, on air, wherever you stream us. Our news will might be a little late if this Mets Pirates game goes a little bit longer, but we'll be on right after that. So have a great rest of your day. Get out and enjoy today, and get ready for the rain tonight and the cooler temperatures tomorrow and into the weekend.